Hi guys.
Hey Mike.
First off, introduce yourselves. Who are you? And what are you up to right now?
Do you want me to go?
Ladies first.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Holly. When I'm not in quarantine, as I currently am, I work at Beaconsfield High School as a PE administrator and hockey coach. And I'm also a member of the women's EDP hockey squad as well.
Nice.
Hi guys, I'm Tim Mouse. Also, when not in quarantine, I'm a student at Bath Uni, playing for Team Bath Bucks, and I'm a member of the men's EDP squad this year.
What is EDP?
The EDP stands for Elite Development Programme, and it's essentially a training squad of people generally from an under 23 kind of age group that come together, and we do training camps like twice or so a month. Sometimes it tends to vary depending on the how busy the league is and everything. But yeah, we come together, we do some training sessions, and essentially we're all aspiring senior international athletes. So.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty much as well. Like within that is the England under 21 squad. So although it's GB, it sort of links with the England under 21 squad. So at the moment I'm within that as well.
Okay.
So, but this is my last year in that age group.
You're both getting old now.
Yeah.
I am one of the older members of the squad.
So how does the link between the England and the GB stuff marry up? Does it work well, do you think, in terms of like it's a really clear divide, like when you're GB versus when you're like EDP?
It's an odd one really, because we don't actually have any. I think it's different for the girls, but we don't actually have any England under 21 training camps. We only go to it's sort of GB all year round. All the training camps encompass, and the whole England under 21 squad is there.
Okay.
And then when we go away to training games or test series, it's usually England under 21. But because we've been doing the training as a whole, as a group, and that squad there, it doesn't really make much difference. But it's quite good that we don't have just England training camps, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we have a bit of overlap between the two, and over the summer we were scheduled to be having like some camps that were more of a GB under 23 focus, and then some were 21s. But yeah, there is quite a lot of overlap between. I think that's good because then it gives those are the girls that are like slightly younger in the England under 21 bracket to then train with people who are older than that. It's kind of a good measure for them as well.
Keeps pushing the standard.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Especially in the men's squad, there's boys that have like come down from being part-time or full-time in the seniors for a couple of years. And for the younger lads or for any of the boys, really, it's such a good thing to train with them and see what it's really meant to be like, the intensity and the standard that it needs to be at.
Oh, nice. And then, so I think you guys said, what, couple of sessions a month? Roughly?
Yeah, roughly. Yeah.
So then how does that then balance in with like the rest of your life? Because obviously you, Holly, you're working, Tim, you're a student. I know, Holly, you did this whilst you were a student as well. Like, how did you balance everything? Like, how did you do it?
Yeah, so quite a lot of our camps recently have been like Sunday, Mondays. So you'll play your league game on a Saturday and then do training with the EDP on Sundays and Mondays, which is quite good because obviously then if you are at work or at uni, you only miss one day. But then obviously it can be a bit annoying sometimes when you don't quite get a full weekend. But yeah, it's just a balancing act. You just kind of have to schedule your time and be organised, and kind of prioritise what you need to do throughout the week, and just make sure that, and even if it's just like a one-day camp, making sure that you're kind of organised around that with lectures or work or whatever.
Yeah, it's slightly different with the men because we never get a Sunday, Monday camp. We're always a Wednesday, Thursday or a Tuesday, Wednesday. So it takes up quite a bit of your week. And then say you have a Wednesday, Thursday camp. A lot of my lectures are on a Thursday, but the uni have been really good with me, allowing me to miss lectures and saying like, just catch up. I've had a lot of tutor meetings where they catch me up with all my work and stuff. So it does work, and it's just communicating with your support structure, I think, is the most important thing, because if everyone knows what you're doing, like your club coaches, your uni like lecturers, the EDP staff, actually everyone wants to help you, wants to get the best out of you. So it's just communicating the best way possible, really.
And I guess that's something you guys had to do when you were, because you both did 16s, 18s as well, didn't you? So actually, these must be skills which you've been having to work on, like, all the way through. This isn't just a new thing for you guys. This is something you've had to do all the way through. So how did you guys find going through the 16 stuff, having to balance all the school stuff then as well? Was it harder in the beginning, or have you kind of both just been quite good at managing your time and stuff?
I think it takes a bit of time. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, it was quite hard at the beginning because, like, I didn't know where in Bournemouth or the school that I was at, no one had ever experienced, like, doing this sort of thing. So the school were a bit like, what's going on here? Why are you going away so much? Why are you missing all these lessons? But then it just, again, like I said before, it just, as time went on, people started to understand more. People knew what was going on, so everyone understood where you were coming from and what you were trying to achieve at the same time.
And people say about, like, making sacrifices and, like, oh, I'm not going to go to this party on Friday because I've got hockey on Saturday or whatever. And people will be like, oh, hockey. But then it's like, if that's what you actually want to do, it's not really a sacrifice. It's just kind of a choice. And people, like you say, people just have to kind of accept that. And yeah, people get used to it. So, yeah.
And I think I like what you're saying about that sacrifice thing. Like, it's not a sacrifice if it's actually something you want to do. Yeah, it's a complete choice.
Yeah, definitely.
And, like, for me, having seen, like, both of you kind of grow up through the system and everything else, I think you're both doing really well because you're really mature in how you manage that, and you look after your bodies, you eat well, you do the right things, and you understand that that's what it takes and you're living it, rather than just being like, okay, well, I'm really talented, it's just going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think that's something which I've always really kind of admired about both of you, is how you've looked after yourselves all the way through the system. That's all right. I mean,
like, at uni and as well, like, I have quite a few friends that are out of hockey at uni, and at first it was pretty difficult for them to understand, like, where is he? Why isn't he coming on a night out with us? But it's actually been quite nice recently when they've been able to come and watch, and they're like, oh, understand. Or, like, last year in the summer, like in the Euros, they were able to watch online sort of thing, and then they're like, oh, this actually makes sense. It's actually quite cool, and I finally got some credit for it. Rather than like, why are you going away again, Tim? Like, it's actually like, oh, it's actually quite cool what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, have you got any tips for, like, the 14, 15-year-old who is kind of maybe just, obviously not right now, but just starting to get involved in the national age group stuff, so that maybe just getting to 16s or just getting 18s for the first time, and it's all like, wow, loads of stuff going on, they're super excited to be involved. Like, what would your like top tips for those guys be?
I think I would say about just being organised and, like, managing your time well, in terms of, like, logistically with hockey and with school and everything. But then, like, when you're at the training camps or when you're at trials or whatever, like, just don't be afraid to make mistakes. Like, go out there, play with freedom, like, do your thing, because that's obviously what's got you there in the first place. And yeah, just it sounds like, just be keen, just, like, want to learn, ask questions, like, don't be afraid to make mistakes, just go out there, do your thing. And I think having, like what you were saying about having the right attitude will get you a long way. Like, even if you're technically not the best player there, if you run hard, like say, ask questions, like, want to be there and look interested, then that stands out to a coach. So I think if you've got a good attitude, you'll go a long way, regardless of if you can hit a ball really hard or not at this level.
I think as well, like you just said, like, actually living it, like, just enjoying yourself. At, like, I made my best friend, like, some of my best friends now are still playing hockey with me in the EDP stuff, but we've just enjoyed it and we've become really good friends. And, like, actually, like, living the moment. Don't think about, oh, am I going to be selected today or not? Actually, just enjoy and be yourself and play the type of hockey you want to play, rather than thinking, oh, I'm not going to get selected because I made this one mistake, sort of thing.
Because you play your best when you're enjoying it and when you're relaxed. So
Yeah, definitely.
Because I think that's one thing which I didn't do as a player. I didn't enjoy tryouts and things like that, just because, like I say, I just got kind of tense and then just didn't really get into the flow of the thing. Whereas actually, like you say, if you turn up and you enjoy the moment and you kind of accept it for what it is and have that acceptance of, okay, well, I might make it, I might not, then that helps a lot in terms of how you're going to prepare and move forwards. So I guess this kind of leads on to my next question in terms of like, how have you guys dealt with kind of not only being selected and kind of the mindset around being selected into EDP or going to competitions, whatever, but also like, I know you've been all the way through the programs, but how have you dealt with like little setbacks and deselections and issues like that along the way? Like, how have you guys dealt with that?
I think for me, like, actually accepting that you can have a bit of time to be sad or like actually like be disappointed with it first off. And then I think it's just a case of showing a bit of resilience and how you then come back from that setback. So like just having a bit of self-reflection, seeing what went wrong, like potentially maybe getting some feedback from some coaches if it's like a selection thing or something like that. And then just actually like sitting down and being like, right, if this is something that I want to do, like what can I do to try and get it right next time? And just, reflecting on yourself and the process around that, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's a really good time to just, for me, I've always been very self-driven in the fact that because I'm not selected, I always want to make sure that I will be selected next time. And it's almost made me work harder sometimes. And if you're getting not selected at 16s, like I didn't get selected for everything when I was in the 16s or 18s, it actually made me work harder, and then it sort of pays off, maybe not straight away, but in a year's time, 2 years' time, it pays off when people have just made it the whole way, haven't been deselected, then suddenly they don't make it when they're 20. It's like, why not? Whereas people, it's actually, in my eyes, quite a good thing that you may have not been selected straight away, because you can make it makes you tougher and resilient, as Holly says, to actually help you out in the few years' time.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
And I remember, I was fortunate enough to coach you at 18s, so I know that your resilience came through that program, and actually it was one of the things that kind of stood you out when sort of working with you at that level, was how hard you worked even through the tough bits, even when we maybe didn't pick you or whatever. Like, you actually worked super hard regardless, and that for me is what really stood out when we got to the back end of the program. And it was really obvious from all of us, like that's what you put in, and you dealt with those situations really well.
You can't just expect it to happen, I don't think. I think it, as I said, takes a few months, few years to actually come through, even though you want it to happen there, and then it probably won't until a bit later on.
And so we talk about like living it and doing the work. Obviously, with the world in the state that it's in right now, it's pretty up in the air. Like, obviously, there's a load of people juggling toilet rolls and all that sort of stuff at the moment. Like, juggling a toilet roll is not going to make you an EDP player. So, like, what would your advice be, like, for people now if they've got limited space, living in a flat or whatever, or they have a little bit of garden? Like, what are you guys doing right now? Because obviously you've still got training to be getting done with. And what would you say to players at the moment who are wanting to be better for when they can eventually get back on a pitch?
Yeah, who knows when that's going to happen. Well, we've actually, yesterday, firstly, at the moment, we've got the next 2 weeks are recharge weeks. So we're sort of using this as our period to recharge, re-energize, because it's been a long season, especially since probably the Europeans last summer. We've been to Malaysia, had a camp most weeks, and games and uni games. So they're using this period as a bit of a recharge period. So then when we're able to get back on the pitch, hopefully in 12 weeks' time, potentially, we will be fully fit and ready to go. So our program it works in 2 weeks blocks for the next bit, where so it's 2 weeks rest, 2 weeks just fun sort of stuff, and then the next 4 weeks is sort of getting back to full fitness. But personally, I just playing with a hockey stick, just in your lounge, whatever, just keeping your hands going is just a bit of fun. You can create some skills as well, I think.
Yeah,
I
just
don't know.
keeping active.
I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. Yeah, just keeping active. Like even if it's just going for a run, like out and about in the fresh air, and then like
your one run.
One run, yeah, it's not too much. But yeah, using your stick. Like we've got one of those like hockey smash things, so playing a bit of that in the garden as well. Just
Nice.
Yeah, bits and bobs.
Yeah, and I think
lots of corridor cricket.
Oh, love that. And I think probably my bit would be to follow like some fitness guys or like people who really know what they're doing, not just kind of your Instagram fitness people, but like proper gyms fitness people who do this for a living and they're professionals at it. Like my advice would be to like find somebody who you can connect with and follow that, because at least then if you're doing your core stuff and your body weight stuff, at least then you can do that and you're doing it following somebody that really knows what they're doing. I guess you guys have got fitness programs anyway, which obviously might look a little different now, but what do they look like?
What, usually or at the moment?
Usually and at the moment, because obviously it'd be good to kind of talk about both.
So usually I'm probably in the gym 3 times a week at the moment. With my S&C coach, and then usually 1 or 2 running sessions a week, which is mainly just like legs and some uppers if I'm lucky. But at the moment it's mainly body weight stuff. I've been injured for the past month or so I'm still carrying on with my rehab over this time. It's quite a good time for this to come, so it can get fully better. But mainly body weight stuff at the moment, which is a bit annoying. I didn't realise how expensive gym equipment was when I looked online.
Yeah, we've tried to set up a bit of a home gym in our garage. We've got some like a squat bar and rack and stuff coming. And we've also got like a little pull-up bar and things. But yeah, our EDP S&C coach has given us like some bodyweight circuits and that kind of thing, just to kind of keep on top of like tissue conditioning and mobility and all that kind of thing as well. But yeah, bodyweight circuits are harder than you think, especially when you go like hard for like 30 seconds a minute or whatever. And I'm not used to doing circuits like this. Like it's different kind of fitness. I'm not built for this.
Going exercise into exercise with barely any rest is horrible.
Yeah, it's stupid.
You usually have 2 minutes. You usually have 3 minutes to have a chat in between each exercise.
So then, how many times a week, Holly, would you normally like go to the gym and train? Like, what would your normal week look like?
In a normal week, I would probably do a couple of gym sessions, and then would have 2 club training sessions, a club game, and then 1 or 2 extra running sessions, depending on if we had EDP that week or not, or like how heavy a load of a week is, would be kind of like a normal week. And it's also a case of managing your own load as well. So like, if you have got EDP at the weekend, then maybe not doing an extra running session here or there, and just kind of managing your body like we were saying before.
Final thing for me, like, what would you say has been your like highlight as a player over the years? And then what are you looking forward to most going into hopefully 2020, 2021 season?
Oh gosh, big question.
Big question.
So one of my highlights was playing in a Junior World Cup. That was a really cool experience. In 2016, we went to Chile, and played in that, which was just, the whole experience was just really cool. Like seeing, and we went to watch, we weren't in the final, but we went to watch the final, and like seeing a crowd that size for an under 21 game was just amazing. And like the standard of hockey was just generally, that was like just a really cool experience. I'd say that was probably one of my highlights. And then also I probably should say getting my first cap in China for the seniors.
I was going to say, I was like,
yeah, that's it. That was pretty cool. Not quite as nice as atmosphere in Changzhou as it was in Chile. But yeah, that was just a whole mad experience as well. Playing for the senior GB squad. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
My highlight, probably last summer, playing at the Euros. Going into the Euros, we hadn't won a game, I don't think, in like 15 games. and then we only lost lost to Germany in the final. We got to the final, and that whole experience was incredible. So yeah, it was really, really good. And then a couple of Malaysias that I've been to, the past 2 years that we've won them, that crowd out there is pretty cool as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I've heard a lot of positive things about that Euros trip. I heard it's like one for the record books. That one.
yeah, it was like the first team to get to the final in 21 years or something like that. Under 21 England team. So yeah, it was pretty cool. Pretty cool. And then to be awarded player of the tournament was pretty unexpected.
No big deal.
Pretty cool. Yeah. So yeah, it's fun.
So what are you looking forward to? Yeah, what's next?
Well, looking forward to getting back to playing hockey again in the short term, that's for sure. And then just seeing what the year holds, to be honest. I think there could be quite a few opportunities on the international kind of scene, potentially, hopefully, who knows. So yeah, just kind of seeing what happens. I feel like we can't really forward plan too much in this time right now. So it's just going to be a case of seeing what happens and, like you say, living in the moment and, yeah, taking every opportunity as it comes, I guess.
Yeah, hopefully there's some international stuff this summer with the 21s, but I don't know whether there will be. Hopefully there will be, touch wood. And then, yeah, see what happens next season, really.
Guys, this has been so much fun. Thank you. No, always welcome. So thank you so much for being on. I think there's some really useful bits of information for the guys listening, watching, whatever. So yeah, thank you so much. Stay safe. Look after yourselves.
Yes, you too.
Keep working hard.
You too.
And I'll catch up with you guys soon.